And fellas, another team in the East, and I just mentioned them, they're going through their struggles right now and taking that step back. That'll be the Milwaukee Bucks, 16-12 on the season, third in the East, but currently on a 4-game losing streak. And Giannis coming and telling the media that, he doesn't want his guys in panic mode and that they should be ready and prepared to withstand the adversity and get themselves back in the winning column. But for Milwaukee, just even with Jrue Holiday not looking like that top team in the East, that we all thought. So Galata, I'll start with you. The Milwaukee Bucks, pretenders or contenders?
I think they're one of the 3 teams in the East that are contenders, just because I don't want to bet against Giannis right just yet. I mean, I think he's the leader that they have that, okay, we went on a little of a skid, but that doesn't make us pretenders. And I mean, you look at him and the team they've built around him. I think, look, it got him to stay and it got him to sign that long-term deal. So he must think they're contenders, which I think they actually are contenders. And I mean, looking as I said, we've all been saying, I mean, the East is still wide open. And when you have one of the best players in that East fighting for that wide open spot, you could definitely see them winning and catching fire at the right time. For sure, I could definitely foresee them winning the Eastern Conference and definitely being serious contenders.
Yeah, I mean, it's the nature of the beast in the East. It's just you're not facing off against, powerhouses like they have in the West. It's really just 3 teams that are really relevant right now. So in that sense, you can't call them pretenders because they're going to be contending for the Eastern Conference, whether they, have, a few skids in the regular season or not. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they have the 2-time MVP back-to-back. It's really hard to bet against them. And I know, they struggled in the playoffs this year, went out early against the Heat. But I think that will probably just, fuel Giannis down the stretch this time. Because I think he's tired of going into the playoffs with high expectations and not exactly achieving them. So I'm going to say that I might have them in my conference final. I think it's going to be very difficult to get past the Sixers and the Nets, but they'll definitely be contending for that spot.
Yeah, Quiggs, you just said you don't want to bet against Milwaukee. You don't think anybody would bet against Milwaukee. Well, I'm betting against Milwaukee. They're pretenders in my mind. And I'll tell you this, because as our producer, Alex Walls, will attest, I was not sold on them in the bubble. I thought that the Heat were going to beat them. That ended up being the case, came into fruition. And this is the problem. If Giannis can't shoot, once the game slows down, come playoff time, teams are going to build that wall and force him to knock down jump shots from 18 feet and further. Is Chris Middleton the second best player on a championship team? I think he's a good player, but he's not the second best player on a championship. No, he's not. And he shows sometimes a bit of reluctancy to kind of take over and be the primary scoring option with the Greek freak there. And I think Jrue Holiday's key too. If he's injured, if he isn't 100%, they need him, especially on the perimeter, to play defense and guard, the opposing team's best player on the perimeter to kind of give Giannis some extra energy on offense. I don't know. As constructed, I'll take the Nets over them. I'd even take the Celtics at full strength over them. If Miami gets back in their winning ways and Pat Riley makes a move and brings somebody down there with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, I like them. And I'd even take, what's the other team I'm blanking? I'll take the 76ers. We just spoke about them. I think there are other teams there that understand what the game plan is in attacking Giannis. And I think until Giannis can develop a jump shot, Chris Middleton can continue ascending to being an all NBA caliber player. I think there are still a lot more questions than answers for the Milwaukee Bucks.